So please have your shape numbers in front of you. And with our shape numbers, we will be using the numbers from the billboard here. And by reading the directions, we're filling in the shapes with some of those numbers. Same shapes have the same numbers. Different shapes then have a different number. So once you designate a circle as a 2, all circles are 2s, but then the 2 can't be used for any other shape. Does that make sense? Okay, so we've done something similar to this before. All right? Where do you think we should get started? Where do you think we should get started?
The 3 circles.
Okay, so E. So somewhere on your page, we want to start with E. Okay? E tells us that we have 3 things that we are multiplying together to equal 27. Our options are up here. Where do you think we want to start with that? And before we do, does anybody have anything for Mrs. Hess to take to the office? Okay. Good morning, Mrs. Hess. Thank you.
Divide 27 by 3.
Okay, she thinks we're going to divide 27 by 3. And that gives us 9. So she thinks we're going to do 9 times 9 times 9 equals 27. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. What's 9 times 9?
81.
81 times 9. Is 81 times 9 equal to 27?
No.
That would be a no. So it's a good place to start, but that doesn't work out for us. That's way too high, right? Okay. And as we take a look at that, all right, we need to understand that we are multiplying the same number 3 times, okay, as opposed to we're adding the same number 3 times. Okay, there's a difference there. There's a difference there. All right. So, what other number do you want to try? 2. So we're going to try 2 times 2 times 2 and see if that equals 27. Okay. What's 2 times 2?
4.
4 times 2 is 8. 8 does not equal 27. If you put that slash over the equal sign, so we could have done that up here, but we knew that that was going to be way too high up there, so we're going to put a no there. So 8 does not equal 27. So it can't be 2 and it can't be 9. What do you want to try next?
3.
3. 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27 is our question. What's 3 times 3?
9.
9 times 3 equals 27 is our question. What's 9 times 3?
27.
27 equals 27, and that is a yes. So some of your pencils are dead, get them alive. These should be things that you're writing down. Okay? So we now know that the circle is equal to 3, right? The circle is equal to 3. And we proved it by trying this out. All right? That was our proof. Okay? So I should see all this on your paper. Okay? So everywhere we see a circle, we should put in a 3. Lane, where would you like to go next?
F.
F. If we go to F, we have 2 unknowns there. Are you sure you want to go to F? Is there anywhere where we only have 1 unknown? Ava, where do you want to go? C. C, we have 1 unknown. C, we have 1 unknown. So let's go to C next. C, we have 3 plus the rectangle equals 3. Oh, what property can we use here? What property can we use here? The identity property. The identity property tells us the rectangle has to be what? 0. 0. So everywhere we see the rectangle, we have a 0. Do we have any other rectangles?
No.
No other rectangles. All right. We've used up the 0. We've used up the 3. I always like to cross them out up there so I know that I've used them. It narrows down my options then. All right. Where else can we go then? Where else? The two triangles. So letter A. So triangle plus triangle equals 21 minus 3. Well, what's 21 minus 3? 18. So 2 times the triangle equals 18. 18.
Oh, that's
18. So how would we solve that? How would we solve that? Multiply 9 by 2. So 2 times 9 equals 18. So our triangle has to equal 9. Our triangle has to equal 9. Okay? So everywhere we see a triangle, we're going to fill in a 9. Use up our 9. Where would you like to go next? What? Where would you like to go next? Ava? F, she says. F. All right. F. F says if we have the hexagon plus 9 times 3, it equals 3 times 11. What's 3 times 11?
33.
What's 9 times 3?
27.
How do we solve for the hexagon? Yeah, we need to actually subtract that 27 from both sides. And that leaves us with the hexagon being equal to what?
3. That's it.
33 minus 27 is 6. So the hexagon is 6. So everywhere we see a hexagon, we fill in a 6. Do we have a hexagon anywhere else?
Yes.
Where?
B.
In D. In D, we have a hexagon?
No.
No, we do not. Okay. Where will we go next? Lane?
B.
B. B says 6 equals 3 times the pentagon. Ooh, what's the pentagon worth then?
2.
2, because 3 times
2.
2 is 6. Okay. So the pentagon equals 2. That's one of our basic facts. So everywhere we have a pentagon, we fill in with a 2. And now we are left with D, right? D says the square plus 3 equals 2 multiplied by the sum of 3 plus 2. Okay? So while we did use up the 2, let's make sure that this is really going to be 7. The square plus 3 equals 2 multiplied by 5. What's 2 times 5? The square plus 3. Oops, the square plus 3 equals 10. We would subtract 3 from both sides, right? And the square equals 7, which is all we had left, which works out perfect for us, right? Yes, sir. Because I was adding 3 here, I want to get rid of it to just be left with the square. Does that make sense? Okay. So the square is equal to 7. How did I figure that out? All my math work was shown, right? Okay. Questions? Yes. What? Oh, sorry. Any questions? Yes. You showed your work. Anything else? Anybody? Okay. You're going to need another sheet of paper for the back side because there's not enough room back there to do your work. Do I still need this? Questions? When's it due? Friday. Friday. All right. Okay. So let's take a look at our John and Sue. John and Sue. Okay, we're starting our series of John and Sue. John and Sue's family will go on many adventures. Okay? They are designed to be real life adventures. Now, maybe your family won't do all these real life things that John and Sue's family does, but some families will do these adventures that John and Sue do. But they are designed around more real life things, getting you to think in real life terms and having to do some math figuring that is out there in the real world. Okay? That makes sense? All right? So we did a whole semester of looking at pictures and you designing the math problem and solving your own math problems. Okay? Now you're going to take a look at what John and Sue's family is doing. And now you are going to solve what John and Sue's family dilemmas are. And you're going to write about it. How did you know how to solve it? Okay? So we're switching up what the math writing actually is. You're going to be telling us how you solved it. Explaining to somebody who doesn't know how to solve it what you did. What you won't be doing in your explaining is saying, I took 2 and added 3 to it and got 5, period. Okay? Because if somebody doesn't understand why you did that, that doesn't tell them much, does it? Okay? So you're going to have to do the whys and because and that kind of explanation. Does that make sense? Okay? Because I don't just stand up here and write numbers up there and you just copy them down. I give the explanation behind it. So in your writings, you're going to have to give the explanation behind it. And I will do some examples today to help you out with that. Okay? So the writings are switched up. They're not you're writing a story problem. They are you're explaining how you came up with your answer. Okay? All right, so you're switching gears for this semester. I'm going to help you through this one, and we'll do a writing about this one. And then I'll help you solve one other one. And then you'll be on your own to do the others and explain one other one. Okay? Does that make sense? So here we go. John and Sue decided to teach the 3 kids some money skills this January. Before going shopping for gifts, they gave each family member a budget of $100 to spend equally on the others. How much can each family member spend for each person? And you need to know that they will not buy a gift for themselves. Okay? All right? So what are some key things that we need to know in this story problem? So as we think about that over there, you know, important numbers, those kinds of things, underlining the question, boxing operation word, those types of things. What are some important things that we know here?
$100.
$100, okay. The $100 is important. We've got $100 to spend, okay. Anything else that's important here? There are 3 kids. Anything else we need to know? They're not going to buy a gift for themselves, so that's going to be probably a box, isn't it? Okay. Anything else? Each. Which each is more important here that I got? Which one is really the one that we need to pay attention to?
For each person.
Each person. This one doesn't tell us a whole lot, right? Okay, so we probably don't even want to box that one. Okay. Anything else? There's another one. Equally. There's something else we need to pay attention to. Who are we buying gifts for? What?
They're for others.
Okay. For the others, are we just buying for the 3 kids? Okay. Anything else? All right. How are we going to solve this thing? 100 divided by 5. Why 100 divided by 5? Everybody agree with that? 100 divided by 5.
Yeah, I was thinking 100 divided by 4.
Can you speak to that?
Because there's basically each person is buying 4 gifts for another person, and they're not buying for themselves. There's 5 people in the family, and they are buying it for themselves. So they're going to buy 4 gifts in all.
So, he said 100 divided by 4.
No, you thought it was 5. It's 5. Oh, yeah, because everybody needs money.
Yeah, but
3. Okay, so yeah, it was 100.
So you think, is it 5 or 4? All right. We need, let's see. Who wants to be John? Yep, stand up. Who wants to be Sue? Stand up. All right, we need 3 kids. 1, 2, 3. Stand up. There's our 5 people. All right? There's the 5 family members. You're buying the gifts. Okay? Are you buying for yourself? Sit down. How many people is she buying gifts for?
That's four.
How many people is she buying gifts for? Okay, family, stand back up. You're buying gifts. Are you buying for yourself? Sit down. How many people is he buying gifts for? Okay, family, stand back up. You're buying gifts. Sit down. How many people are you buying gifts for? How many? 4. Stand back up, please. You're buying gifts. Sit down. How many people are you buying gifts for? 4. Stand back up, please. Now you're buying gifts. Sit down. How many people are you buying gifts for? 4. Okay. How many gifts are being bought? 4. 4. Okay. Have a seat, please. Are you going to argue with me over that? No. Oh, good. Yes.
So it's not going to be, it is 4, but it's...
Okay. So let's start with that. Hold on. So we had to do 5 minus 1 to come up with our 4, right? Right? So that needs to be part of our equation. Does that make sense? Because we're subtracting out the one person who is doing the buying. Does that make sense? Okay? All right? And then somebody told me we're going to take that $100 and divide it by the 4, right? Because we know that 5 minus 1 is 4, right? And that will tell us how much money we get to spend on each person. Is that correct? So M is going to be the money spent on each person. Right? Does this look like the equation type stuff we worked on before? Yeah. When we did writing? Okay? So we're still going to do that type of stuff. Okay? Define the variable, we wrote an equation, and now we can solve it. What do we have to do first? 5 minus 1. Right? Because what's in parentheses? Yes. So off to the side now, we need to do 100 divided by 4. How many times is 4 going to 1? 2. 1. 0. Is it 10? 2. Into 20? 5. So M is equal to 25. Okay? So they're going to spend $25 on each person. Is that pencil moving? Are there any questions on any part of how we solved it? Okay, now we're going to write about it. Okay? I'm going to number our parts so that you know how we're going to do our writing, okay? Does that make sense? What did we have to do first? What did we have to do first? Okay, so to get where we were going, we circled all of our words. I do not need for you to tell me you circled all your keywords in your writing, okay? I will not insist on you doing that. All right? When we reached this point and actually started solving it, what did we do first? Get it all written down. Ezra, what did we do first? We subtracted the 1, yes. Okay, we did this first, right? We did that first. What did we do second? Yeah, we did that second. Okay? So when we do our explaining, we're going to have to explain in that order. Does that make sense? Okay? We're going to have to explain the why behind it, though. We can't just say, I subtracted 1 from 5, got 4, and then I divided 100 by 4 and got 25. Does that tell anybody why we did it? No. All it does is explain arithmetic. We need to tell people why we did what we did. Okay? Why did we do this? Why did we do 5 minus 1?
So we could see how many people we were buying things for.
True. But why did we subtract that 1?
Because there were 5 people in the family, but you're not buying the gift to yourself.
Okay. Boom. Right there, right? And there were 5 people in the family we weren't buying. Yeah. Okay. All that combined. Okay. All right. Why did we do this? Why did we do that? Why did we do that?
Because John gave everyone a budget of $100, right? But then the both people don't
And there's more to it. There's some more wording in our story problem. We were going to do it what? We were going to do it what?
Equally.
Equally. Right there. Do you see that? Do you see that? Okay. So when we do our writing, we're going to talk about that in our writing. We're not just going to say, I took 5 minus 1 and got 4, and then I took 100 divided by 4 and got 25. That doesn't tell us anything other than, again, our arithmetic. We need to know why we did it. And by circling and boxing stuff in, we know why we did it, but we have to tell our reader why we did it. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to erase this so that you guys can see my actual writing. Otherwise, I'm writing too small. Does that make sense? Okay? Now, I'm not sure how much room you guys have because I don't know how big you guys write. So you may need another sheet of paper to do your actual writing. Okay? And when you turn these in, my guess is you will need another sheet of paper for the writing part. Okay? Because you will have to choose another one to do your own writing with. So you'll have the practice writing with me, and then you will have one writing that you will do yourself. So you may get out one paper now, you'll have this writing on it, and then you'll have your own writing from another problem. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and get out your line paper. first thing that we did and why did we do it? What was the first thing we did and why did we do it? Ava. And why did we do it? Okay, so we need to actually say first, I subtract 1 from 5. Family members because we don't buy a gift for ourselves. Does that make sense? Something like that? And that pretty much comes from this line right here. We didn't have to reinvent it. It came from this right here, right? Does that make sense? Okay. And I think I need a comment here. Okay. Yeah, Eduardo? We could. I don't think I had to, but we could. Now, I can tell my reader then, this left me with 4 gifts to buy. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. So that explains where the 4 comes from. We don't just leave the reader hanging. All right. So what was the second thing we had to do? Ava? Okay, and what was the 100? What was the 100? Okay. What was the 4? Okay. So next, $100 of spending money divided equally by 4 family members is $25 per person to spend. That makes sense? Does that explain all of our numbers? Does that explain everything that we did? Yeah. Does it give a label to our numbers? Okay. Okay. All right. The problems are not labeled or numbered on your page. Let's number them 1 through whatever it is.
1 through 6.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
That way, when you choose whichever one you are writing about, you can put like number whatever. So put number 1 next to this one, so that I know it's the one we did in class together. And then when you choose whichever one you're going to write about, you can number the corresponding numbers so I know which one you're trying to write about. Questions on how to write this one? Anything you would need help with? Okay? So up here, I say use words like because, then, next, those types of things. Yes.
Do we have to solve everyone when they write that one?
Yes. Yeah. I'll go over all that here in a minute. I'm going to help you solve another one. Okay. All right. So let's go down to this one, which I believe is the 5th one. The 5th one. Okay. The children decided to treat their parents to breakfast in bed with hot cocoa made by them. Their flavor choices were white chocolate, dark chocolate, and milk chocolate. By the way, if there's dark chocolate, I'm not sure why we involved it. The toppings were whipped cream or mini marshmallows. What were the different combinations of hot cocoa the parents could choose from? Okay. We've not done hardly anything with combinations. You've seen a couple of things with that on Test Tutor, I believe, but we've not done a whole lot with that. Here's how you would approach one of these, by making a tree diagram. A tree diagram, okay? First off, they have choices, and our choices are listed right here, okay? So when we have our choice, we have our choices right here, and then we have our choices here, okay? All right? Our question, of course, is the different combinations, okay? But in making a tree diagram, we can show what our different combinations are. Our first choice has 3 different options. So in our tree diagram, we will have 3 branches to it. And our first choice is white chocolate. So I'm just going to put white here. Our second choice is dark chocolate. So I'm just going to put dark there. And our third choice is milk chocolate. So I'm just going to put milk there. Okay? That makes sense? We could put the word chocolate with it, but it takes up a whole lot of room. All right? Then off of those, we have toppings of whipped cream or mini marshmallows. Okay? So if I chose white chocolate, I have two choices off of that. I could choose whipped cream, or I could choose mini marshmallows. And again, I'm just using the first part of it. But I could choose dark chocolate, but I still have a choice with, if I choose dark chocolate, of putting on whipped cream or mini marshmallows. But if my choice was milk chocolate, I still had a choice of putting on whipped cream or mini marshmallows. So now I list my choices as white chocolate with whipped cream, white with mini marshmallows, and so on. I'm not going to finish it for you. That would be something you can finish. And those would be your choices out here. Does that make sense? Questions? Questions? Okay, you can finish that one up. All right? All right. I want to take a look at the rubric. So put your pencils down, please. Let's take a look at the rubric, please. The rubric, the 2 points for all work shown and the answer is correct for the first problem, which we did together. So I assume that when I look at your page, you'll have all that work shown. 2 points for work shown and the answer is correct for the second problem, third, fourth, fifth. Okay, so we've got 5 problems that we're going to be looking at. So you are choosing 5 of the 6 problems. All right? That makes sense? 2 points for correct explanation of one problem using proper grammar mechanics. All right? So I'm not grading the one that we did together. I'm grading the writing that you're doing. Does that make sense? Okay? Questions on that? Yes?
So we don't redo one of them.
Correct. So you can choose to not finish this one. That makes sense? Questions? Yes? But I don't know which one you don't want me to grade. And typically I start at the top and grade, and then the last one's the one I won't grade. Does that make sense? Okay. Anything else? Ezra?
So we only choose one of them?
You only write about one.
Oh.
Okay? You only have to explain one. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. With your study time today, then, you have your problem solving, your writing. Those would be the 2 things I would concentrate on first. So if you have questions about those, you could be asking. And then if you've not finished your assignment from yesterday, that would be something else you could work on. Oh, test tutor, of course. I guess test tutor I would do before your assignment because you can't take it home. Is there anybody who did not pick up the 3rd page back there? Okay.